Hi, I'm Christy Flynn.
And I'm Dr. Alex Fennelly. We are the co-authors of the cookbook From Scratch, Restoring Health with Whole Foods the Wellness Way.
Every one of you watching us right now has a story. And each one of you also is walking your very own health journey, whether you realize it or not. We are two moms who have been walking on our own health journeys, and we realized early on that the food that you eat matters. We need to look at food differently. We need to look at the sourcing, the ingredients, the quality, and the nutrients. You see, we're passionate about health and raising healthy families, and then passing that information on to our children and then to all of you, our viewers, so that you too can leave a health legacy for generations to come. Cooking from scratch is all about deconstructing and then recreating foods to fit your individual health goals.
The fact is, food is emotional and it brings people together. What happens when someone is faced with a chronic illness or even a food allergy? It requires them to eat differently and differently from those around them. I know from personal experience that that can be very, very isolating. Eating healthy does not have to be boring or bland. It is beautiful, flavorful, and simple. Join us today as we walk alongside Jessica and create a menu for her that supports her health goals from scratch.
Jessica, come on join us.
Hi guys.
Hello.
Hi. So what is it that you would like us to help you with today?
Well, I have been battling a thyroid disorder and disease since I was 19 years old, and I have a yeast allergy, and I really miss the opportunity to be able to have a glass of wine after a long day. I'm just a busy mom. I started following Dr. Patrick Flynn from The Wellness Way. I believe that's your husband, Christy, and found out about your book. So I would really love if you guys could work with me and find some options for me.
Yes.
Yes, we would love to.
Jessica had some testing done and discovered that she has Hashimoto's and she's struggling with some food allergies. So the menu that we created for her is completely gluten-free, sugar-free, dairy-free, and egg-free.
But not flavor-free. Yeah. Trust me, you are gonna love this. Let's get started with the Poppy Paloma. What does this cookbook mean to me? It's everything. I am the first ever patient of The Wellness Way, and so I've been doing this a long time. So this cookbook is about deconstructing old family favorites, or even new ones, and recreating them using healthier ingredients.
You can eat healthy and whole foods while still following your food allergies.
Today on Cooking from Scratch, we're going to make a mocktail called a Poppy Paloma, turkey egg roll in a bowl, and my favorite, peanut butter dreams pie. So Dr. Alex, this is, the Poppy Paloma is one of your recipes from our cookbook From Scratch.
Yes.
So what inspired you? Like, what is the motivation behind it?
Yeah. So having a health cookbook, we obviously didn't want any cocktails in the cookbook. We wanted to add some mocktails in. So a typical Paloma is grapefruit juice, lime juice, a little sparkling water, and tequila. So we obviously needed a replacement for the tequila, so we are replacing it with an herb called California poppy. The benefits of California poppy are reducing anxiety, encouraging relaxation, and supporting healthy sleep. So let's get started. So I have here 2 bags of white tea that I steeped in about 3/4 cup water. I steeped them for about 2 minutes, and now I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of honey in. And you don't have to be exact with it. We want a little honey left over, so we've got about 3 tablespoons total, and we want a little left over that we can put on the rim of our drinking glass. So I'm just gonna stir that in really nicely, and then we're gonna let that cool in the fridge. Christy's gonna put that in there, thank you. Okay, so now we are going to zest our grapefruit so that we can add something fun to the rim of this. So I'm just gonna zest probably like 1/4 of this here. And then typically the original recipe calls for salt. I like to shake it up a little bit and add some granulated xylitol to this. So
question. Grapefruit. Can they
Yeah.
switch out different fruits?
Yeah, so I feel like grapefruit is definitely an acquired taste. You either love it or you hate it, or some people have allergies to it. So you can use an orange with this, or you could also use what's called a pomelo. A pomelo is like a very large grapefruit, and in the inside is exactly what you would see with a grapefruit. It's just a, what I would call sweeter grapefruit, so.
So now you had said organic. Is that
Yes.
because you're zesting? We want to make sure that we don't have toxicity.
Yep. Okay, so that's about good there. Now what I'm gonna do is just add a little bit of salt here. And I never actually measure this, you just mix it up and run with it. So again, I'm adding some sea salt and some granulated xylitol here, and this is gonna go on the rim of the glass. Adding a little bit more here, and then I'll spread it out. And Christy, if you want to line the edge of the glass with honey.
With my finger?
Yeah, I usually just use my finger.
Okay, that makes it super easy.
And if you want to make them fancy, if you're serving these, then you can, you know, drizzle a little honey down the glass as well, but certainly not a requirement. So yeah, we'll just get our glass ready, and then we'll mix up the rest of the mocktail.
You get to play with honey. Who gets to play with honey? This is so fun.
Okay, my hands are so dirty. Will you roll the edge of that in there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Yep, so just roll it. Really coat that up there.
Super fun.
I know. If you don't have the alcohol in there, you need something fun to spice it up a little bit. So.
This is such a pretty drink.
Yeah.
Like you can wow people,
Yeah.
and it's so simple.
Very fun to serve at a social gathering.
Fun.
I know, isn't that
Look
cute?
at that. That's so
Perfect.
great.
Okay, so the rim's done now, and we'll be back in a second to finish the rest of it. So we're back. Now our iced tea is cooled, and we are going to put the mocktail together. So we are going to start with a strainer. Because we have juiced the grapefruit and the lime juice, we just want to get all that pulp out of there. So we are going to start with 1/2 cup of fresh squeezed grapefruit juice. Then we are going to add in 1/2 cup of fresh squeezed lime juice. That's where all the pulp comes out here, so we'll just get rid of that. Then I'm going to add in our cooled down tea. And then 2 teaspoons, you can add more if you want to, but 2 teaspoons of the California poppy. And then we are simply going to shake that up here.
So is there another reason why you specifically chose the Poppy Paloma for
Yes, so
Jess?
with Jess's health goals, she is not able to have alcohol because she has a brewer's yeast allergy. So we needed to remove the alcohol from that, and the Poppy Paloma was a perfect alternative. She's got a really stressful job, and again, with Poppy helping to calm the nervous system, it was a perfect fit. Okay, so we're just gonna shake that up there. And then we are going to pour this mixture about 1/3 of the way, 1/2 and then we are going to top it off with flavored, you could do just plain sparkling water, you could do sparkling water flavored with grapefruit, or you could do a grapefruit like juice sparkle.
It's very versatile. This
Yes.
is where you can
Yep.
kind of mix it up.
Yep,
play
and
around
again,
with flavors.
I always recommend making the recipe as is in the cookbook and then just altering it to your flavor profile or your specific food allergies. Again, changing out the fruits that you juice and what have you. So this is the beautiful Poppy Paloma mocktail. Always feel free to add different garnishes. You could add some lime garnish or even some grapefruit garnish to this, especially if you're serving it to your family and friends. So this is the Poppy Paloma. Again, you can add any kind of lime garnish or grapefruit garnish to this. And then up next, we are going to make the turkey egg roll in a bowl.
Hi, I'm Erin Walton, Communications Manager here at Wellness Way headquarters. Helping your body and mind settle down for that peaceful, restful sleep is sometimes difficult to get to, especially after a long day. California Poppy can help soothe frazzled nerves and settle your mind so that you can drift off to dreamland.
Welcome back to Cooking from Scratch. Now we're going to make the turkey egg roll in a bowl. This is personally one of my favorite recipes, tried and true with my kiddo and definitely adult satisfying. My favorite way to prep this recipe is to have everything cut and ready to go. That way you can just grab a mocktail and have fun in the kitchen putting everything together. So to start with this, we are going to take a little bit of the avocado oil. I've got the stovetop here on medium heat. We're just gonna take a little bit of that avocado oil and we are going to brown our turkey. So with this recipe, it is so versatile in the sense that you can add ingredients, take ingredients out. You know, if you're wanting more protein in your diet, you can double the amount of turkey. You can substitute the turkey for chicken. If you've got certain hormone imbalances and you need to add more cruciferous vegetables into your diet, you can double the amount of cauliflower, the amount of cabbage. If you don't like heat, take the pepper flakes and the hot sauce out of it. If you like heat, then double all of that. So just make this recipe the way that we have it in the cookbook and then adjust it as you see fit. So we're just gonna get this browned up here.
And the thing about an egg roll in a bowl, you know, egg roll. You think there's eggs. There's no eggs in the egg roll. But they are traditionally made with a gluten wrapper. And that's one thing that Jess cannot have. She can't have gluten. So making it deconstructed, as we say, you know, we deconstruct things and recreate them. This is one of those situations where you can deconstruct an egg roll, put it in a bowl, and you have all the same flavors. You don't have to sacrifice on flavor, but you definitely are not at the expense of your health having these, eating things that that are going to cause reactions.
And the egg roll was something that Jess really missed from her childhood, so we really wanted to incorporate that into our menu for her today.
So the thing she had mentioned, the easiest way to do this is to prep it ahead of time.
Yeah.
This is another one of those, how do you make it? So many people ask us, how do we make meals so that, like, as a busy mom, working mom, that you can come home and make a meal in, you know, a short amount of time. Prep this, food prep in the beginning of the week. This is one of those things, get these things chopped up ahead of time, and then when you put it all together, it goes relatively quickly.
I can't ever say that I've ever made just a single, you know, I always double this recipe when I make it so that we've got leftovers for the next day.
From personal experience, when I tried this recipe for the first time, we even doubled it and we had no leftovers. So,
You have a big family.
We do. We do. It wasn't always that way. So 25 years ago, that's when I met this guy and he changed my life forever, literally. So I was really sick and he disagreed with what the mainstream doctors were saying, and so we chose to do things differently. I had to look at food differently. You had to look at like the ingredients and how they're affecting your health. And I completely did, I walked the other way, and we basically did things differently, and 4 children later, and I am in great health. I used to have things like ulcerative colitis and endometriosis, migraine headaches, a bunch of things, and I don't have any of those things anymore. And it's based on the premise that our body doesn't make mistakes. Like it responds. It responds to our environment. And now, Dr. Alex, you came about, what, about 10 years ago?
Yep, and as a wellness way doctor, you know, our main goal is just removing stressors from the body, and every patient has, or every person has, their own individual stressors, and it's just testing that patient to figure out, you know, what their stressors are. You know, there's no protocols, it's all figuring out, again, for that individualized person, what is stressing their body. And removing that to reduce that inflammation. Take that stress off of the immune response. You're gonna hear us reference food allergies a lot. We do a lot of food allergy testing in our clinics.
It's one of the easiest things that you can do to reduce the inflammation in your body. And when you do that, then your body has a chance to start addressing some of the other things going on.
And again, taking stress off of that immune system and allowing the body to do what it was designed to do.
So we're just browning that?
Yep, it's almost done here, and then we're gonna add the rest of it in. So I'm gonna finish browning this and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Cooking from Scratch. So now I have the turkey browned. I moved it to a separate bowl, and now we are going to saute our ginger and garlic. So I'm just gonna put a little bit more of the avocado oil into the pan. We're gonna add 2 teaspoons of the ginger and then 2 cloves of the garlic.
So I noticed you're using cast iron pan.
Yep.
There are special things that we should look for when we're, even the utensils and the pans, the pots, the dishes, the things that we're using are just as important because they can leach chemicals as well.
Absolutely, yes.
So cast iron, you actually can get some extra iron when you use them. So I know some people like myself, I had in the past struggled with things being low in iron. But so we have cast iron, we have stainless steel. What you want to stay away from is anything that has that non-stick coating.
Teflon, yeah.
Yeah. While you're doing that, I'm gonna take, isn't this beautiful? Look at, it's colorful.
So I usually break the head of the cauliflower up, and then it's easier to put in the food processor there. And what we're looking for here is basically the consistency of rice. So you just want to pulse that up. You can do them small, you can do them large. It's to your, again, personal preference. Don't overthink it.
Voila.
There we go. It's as easy as that.
It doesn't work that easy with mine at home.
Okay, so now that she's got that done, I am gonna add in the half a head of green cabbage. I'm going to add in the carrots. And here we have a cabbage, cauliflower, carrot mix. Typically, I like to do a lot more purple cabbage, and you do like a half a, fun colors. And so you want to use a bigger pan for this because we're gonna add a lot of veggies, and then we're gonna add the meat in. And this will break down a little bit, so it'll be easier to fit everything in, but a large pan is very helpful.
Definitely want a large pan.
Yep.
When I did this one at home, I was texting Alex going, how big is this pan supposed to be? Because I had this heap of cauliflower and I didn't know how, and it cooks down, which is great.
It really does.
Just a tip, if you use something with a little, because it depends on what pan you have. We want you to be able to do these recipes. So I have a pan at home that has a little higher sides, but I used a tongue and I just kind of
tossed it around.
Tossed around. It worked really well, but it does cook down, so no worries there.
And with the carrots, I prefer to cut them on a mandolin. You can shred them, you can simply cut them. I just like the consistency and the size of cutting them with a mandolin, but don't feel like you have to go buy a mandolin to do this recipe. You just make do. Okay, so now that we've let that kind of saute and cook down a little bit, we can add the cauliflower.
There you go. Oh,
beautiful.
That is pretty.
It's beautiful.
Colorful.
Yes. So I'm just going to incorporate this, make sure everything is mixed together really well.
And how long do you normally, how long does it
it's again to personal preference. I like to have a little bit more crunch and texture, so I don't cook my veggies down that long, and I like them really colorful. Again, especially if I'm serving this. So if you
keep it on like medium low heat?
Okay. Medium heat the whole time. Okay, so I'm gonna let these cook down a little bit, and we'll be right back.
To do with this cookbook is allow people new options and new varieties of different things they can do that not only look amazing and beautiful, but taste incredible.
Creating this cookbook will give them an opportunity to be able to have access to Wellness Way approved recipes. They will be able to easily add in ingredients or take out ingredients based on their individual food allergy list. Welcome back to Cooking from Scratch. So now what we're gonna do is we are going to mix the sauce together that we're going to pour into our veggies. So I have a half a cup of tamari, a couple teaspoons of rice vinegar. I have a tablespoon of the avocado oil, and then I've got a few shakes of the red pepper and about a teaspoon of onion powder here. So we're just gonna whisk that together, and then we're gonna put that right into our pan, right over the veggies. So we're just gonna pour that in, and then I'm gonna simply add back in our turkey that we already browned, and then we're just gonna give that a good mix here. And we're gonna let this cook again on medium heat for about 8 minutes. Again, or to the texture that you prefer your veggies here.
And while she's doing that, I'm gonna put together the spicy mayo that goes right along with it. And you cannot make it without the spicy mayo.
Yes.
It adds just an extra little kick. So we're gonna start with a vegan mayo. Now, in our cookbook, we have a homemade duck egg mayo. It is so easy to make your own mayo. And why duck eggs? For all those people who, like me, who have allergies to regular chicken eggs. So we're gonna put our mayo, so whichever one of choice that you would like. And then we have hot sauce, 2 tablespoons of hot sauce. And again, this is any hot sauce. If you have a favorite, go ahead and use that. Unsweetened ketchup. So again, Jess needs to stay away from sugar. So we want to make sure to use something that doesn't have already a sweetener in it.
Yeah.
And that would be a tablespoon of that ketchup. Tamari. I was gonna say something before, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna wait till now. So tamari, we want a teaspoon of tamari. Tamari is fermented soy. So typically we advise people to stay away from soy. But in this case, it's fermented soy. So it's something that you can have unless you have an actual soy allergy.
Yeah.
You can sub it out. In the book, it actually says coconut aminos. So go ahead and do that. But again, if you have a coconut allergy, you can go ahead and use tamari. And last but not least, we have vinegar. It's a half a teaspoon of vinegar. In the book, it actually says rice vinegar. You can sub out and use apple cider vinegar. You probably already have it in your cupboard, in your pantry, so go ahead and use that. So we're gonna whisk this all together.
And typically you have leftovers of your spicy mayo. I always recommend making like a burger bowl and putting that over, or a simple hamburger. It works really, really well for that.
You could even make, because it's like a buffalo, it's spicy, kind of like a buffalo sauce.
Yeah.
So like on a chicken wrap, drizzle that on top.
It's a special sauce.
It's a special sauce found in our cookbook.
And you want to keep stirring these veggies. You don't have to watch over them like a hawk, but just give them a stir every now and again. All right, and we will be right back with you.
Welcome back to Cooking from Scratch. Now we're gonna plate our egg roll in a bowl. So,
just as much as you want.
Usually take
Load it up.
heaping.
Yep. Okay, we'll add one more scoop for Jess. She's hungry. Okay.
Add a little salt.
Yep.
Just for
Sea salt to taste.
Make sure it's sea salt.
Yes.
And then a drizzle of that amazing spicy mayo. Just like that.
Beautiful. And then I always top with either some chives or green onions. So we're just gonna sprinkle those on, be generous with it. And there you go, turkey egg roll in a bowl. We'll be right back with you.
Welcome back, everyone. Guess what time it is? It's time to make dessert. It's my favorite time. Yeah. We are making peanut butter dreams pie. It's one of my most favorite recipes and probably the most popular recipes among all of our Wellness Way fans.
Yeah.
It's in our cookbook, from scratch, and I'm so excited to show you all how to make it. So originally, this recipe was made with a gluten crust. It had eggs, it had dairy, it had sugar, and I had to transform it. So after my third child was born, I was very inflamed and I had a bunch of allergies that showed up, and so that began my quest to, you know what, I'm gonna start changing and transferring these recipes, and that's one of the first ones that I had started recording down. So what it starts with, we're using, instead of dairy, we're using coconut, so coconut cream. Now, what's the best way to do it? Well, not all coconut cream is made equal. Let me just share that with you.
Yeah.
So coconut cream, what you do is you take a can of coconut cream, or it's actually coconut milk, classic coconut milk, full fat, and you want to put it in the fridge and forget about it overnight, and then it will rise to the top, the cream will rise to the top, and you're going to just use that cream from the top, and you're going to put that into your bowl and you're going to whip it up. I say not all is created equal because I was on a quest to find out which ones work and which ones don't. Because I know
yeah.
you even said, hey, this doesn't always work. Very true.
Yeah.
So I just kind of brought out some brands. This Native Forest brand, if you find it, this one is just coconut cream. They have worked every time. So if you need to make sure that it works every time, you definitely want to use these. So what you're going to do is take the coconut cream, then I pulled it out already, and we're going to put it in to our bowl. Okay, so after we've put it in, we are going to whip it up. And so what's going to happen is it is going to, like thick peaks, not quite thick peaks. It's not going to work quite the same as regular cream, but it will get thicker. So it's already starting to get thicker, but I'm going to take a little break because we're going to put some sweeteners. So I like to use birch xylitol.
Can you use any other sweeteners?
Yeah, we can actually. You can use allulose, you can use like a monk fruit.
Oh.
What you're looking for, you still want that light color, so you don't want like the brown monk fruit.
Sure.
That kind of thing. You want something that's kind of white. So, but how do you make it powdered? So simple. You just put it in like a NutriBullet.
Because it comes granulated.
Because it comes granular,
yeah.
and you need it to be. It doesn't absorb. Let's just be real here. It doesn't absorb and melt like typical sugars.
Sure.
So when you powder it, it's going to incorporate into the mixture. As simple as that. Look at how easy that was.
Beautiful.
And beautiful powdered, yes.
And if you don't have a NutriBullet, you can use a coffee grinder too. That's my tried and true.
So we're going to put up to about 1/4 cup of the sweetener. I say up to because it depends on that level of sweetness. As you start eating healthier and as you start eliminating sugar from your diet, your palate changes.
Yes.
And so things that used to be sweet, you're going to think are way too sweet, and you'll just have to reduce. And that's a good sign. So we're going to just whip this in, just like that. So what we need to do is we make 2 batches like that, and you're going to put them in the fridge until the next step. So we'll be right back.
When you can't find answers to your recurring health challenges, it can feel like your health and your future are being held hostage. The Wellness Way is a network of health restoration clinics that think and act differently to solve the health challenges others can't. Here, we disrupt the standard approach to care through a combination of testing, individual plans, and one-on-one guidance, putting your health and your future where they belong, in your own hands.
Welcome back.
So next step is to make the crust. Now, as I said before, it used to have a gluten crust. Instead, we're going to use nuts. I like to use about 1.5 cups. Any combination of nuts. It depends on your allergy.
Sure, yes.
So as a doc, I'm sure you see different patients that have
different allergies. Yeah, so as a doc, we can't necessarily tell a patient to eat a less inflammatory diet or a healthier diet, because that's gonna look different for everyone, right? So again, that's why we are huge proponents of IgG allergy testing, because each person is going to have individual specific dietary needs. So I typically use pecans and walnuts. That's what you have right here, right?
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
I have 1 cup of pecans and 1/2 cup of walnuts.
So what are some other options? Have you used any other options in the past?
Yeah, I've used cashews, I've used almonds.
Have you ever used peanuts?
That would be really peanutty. I mean, you could if you wanted to. We're going to put 2 tablespoons of coconut oil in, and that's just going to help. The nuts already have their own oils, but adding the coconut oil, it just kind of helps it to like stick together, especially when you put it back in the fridge or freezer. It's going to solidify it, and it works out great.
This recipe is truly a great way to add more dietary fats in.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure. Sweetener. So again, you want to put a little bit, not too much, no more than about a couple tablespoons. I think I put 2 here, 2 tablespoons of your powdered xylitol or monk fruit or whichever one. And then you want about a half a teaspoon of cinnamon. This is optional. I think it adds.
I like it.
Yeah, it adds just an extra little flavor to a little warmth to your crust. And that, all the ingredients in. We're just gonna blend that together. And it's as simple as that. So it already, because it has all the healthy fats in it and we added the coconut oil, now when we press it into the pan, it presses in right on the bottom. You can create sides to it if you want to. You don't have to, but you just press it in. And it's super fast and easy.
That one's already kind of going up the sides for you.
Yeah, it kind of does, because there's enough in here. By using the 1.5 cups, it's a great, perfect amount that fits. And again, this is just a pie plate. Again, you don't want to use something that has Teflon. You want to use a glass pie plate if you can. And so, okay, peanut butter and chocolate, right?
Who doesn't love it?
Right, but some people don't like chocolate. Okay, so this next step, some people want to omit, and that is totally fine. But if you're a peanut butter and chocolate lover, like most people, you're going to want that just a thin layer of melted chocolate. So we'll be right back. Welcome back. So as I mentioned before, we're going to melt our chocolate chips. So if you're going to do it on a pot on the stove or a pan on the stove, you just need to use some coconut oil. So I have about a couple tablespoons of coconut oil and then about a half a cup of chocolate chips. And we're just going to, and now chocolate. Okay, I have to step back. I have to say something about chocolate. So chocolate chips
are not created equal.
They are not created equal. And there are some different studies out there, different people have tested because chocolate, because of how it is raised, how it's grown, how it's harvested, can have lead and cadmium in it. So it is very good to go and search for yourself and do that. And this is what we really, really want moms and different people, we want you to do your research. We want you to look it up and find out for yourself, to make this decision for yourself. What chocolate is the best option for you? So I chose a chocolate, a dark chocolate that it's stevia sweetened. So that's what I'm going to use. But again, you need to choose what's best for you and your family.
The more education you can do about certain ingredients is only going to empower you to make those healthy choices for your family.
Okay, so this is nicely melted, and the coconut oil, make sure that it stays nice and...
It really prevents it from burning, because chocolate can be a very
finicky, delicate
ingredient.
You can do a double boiler on the stove if you want to, but again, you don't have to go out and buy something special if you can just do it simply. You just have to watch it and keep it on low heat. And you don't want a thick layer, because thick chocolate is hard to cut through.
It's hard to bite into.
So I just like to drizzle onto here so that you're just coating the bottom, and then just lightly cover the bottom, and then you will have a nice chocolate layer before you have the peanut butter. So when you have it to however much you want in here, then you can go ahead and put it in the fridge waiting for the next step. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Next up, we're going to do the peanut butter pie filling. So first step, we're going to put about 2 tablespoons of oil, coconut oil. So this step is kind of like when you cream sugar and oil or whatever. This is equivalent to that, but it's using healthier ingredients. So yacon syrup is a prebiotic. It kind of has a flavor like molasses, but it's not going to have all the sugar content. And what does a prebiotic do?
It just feeds the healthy bacteria.
So I'm going to add about a tablespoon. This is one of those ingredients. Guess what? If you don't have it, you can get it online. If you don't have it, it's okay. You can omit it and it's not going to affect the recipe. It's just an added nutrient that you can.
So I've used maple syrup. Am I doing it wrong?
Well, it just adds some sugar.
Oh, okay.
So if you didn't, if your health goal was to avoid sugar, then you just add it a little bit.
So in this case, for Jess, obviously avoiding sugar, maple syrup would not be a substitute for that. So.
And then we're going to have about a tablespoon of the powdered xylitol. Okay. And we're gonna whip that up. And this is a step that some people don't always do. They want to take a shortcut and they'll try to do everything all at once, but this is actually a really necessary step. It affects what the outcome looks like. This is where you're adding air and you're, like I said, it's creaming the sugar. Yeah. You may need to scrape it down a bit. Depending on your mixer, it can ride up the sides. So scrape it down.
How long do you typically do this step for?
This step, it doesn't take long, but you're going to see it change color. It's going to get like a lighter color. Yeah, so you can see it's like a lighter, lighter color. Okay. It all kind of blends together. So
beautiful.
So the next part is adding your peanut butter. So it's a cup of peanut butter. So peanut butter. What you're looking for is organic peanut butter. I always choose creamy, obviously. Yeah. But you want to look for the least amount of ingredients as possible. So
no seed oils, if anything, just some sea salt in there. But yeah, you don't want
peanuts, maybe some salt, and that's about it. So we're going to add that. And don't be afraid to make a mess. Kitchens are meant to be messy. We're going to add, now we're going to add a little bit more sweetener. So this is where you have to decide. I would try it the way it is listed, and if you need to reduce the amount of sweetener or add a little bit more, this is where you can do that. We're going to add a 1/4 cup. I really think 1/4 cup is like max. I wouldn't put any more because then it'll be a little too sweet.
So if you're using xylitol, you really want to purchase xylitol that's derived from birch, not corn. The reason that we say that is because most corn is genetically modified.
I'm just gonna scrape down the edges. Make sure you do scrape down the edges. So I always joke when I make this, Buckeyes. You've had Buckeyes before?
No? What's a Buckeye?
The little peanut butter and you roll them in chocolate for Christmas.
No, I've never had one. You'll have to make them for me.
Oh, right? Well, so you can almost use this because it gets to be really thick. So once that's all blended together, then a lot of times you have some leftover coconut cream. Because remember the liquid that's left at the bottom that you don't include, there's always some residual coconut cream in there. So you want about 2 tablespoons of that. I've left that in reserve here. And it just adds for a little bit more creaminess, and believe it or not, it makes it really, really thick at this point. So I went and got the last ingredient for the filling, which is that coconut cream. So remember, we made 2 batches of the coconut cream. So this one batch, now we're going to pour, as you can see, it's nice and thick. We want to pour that into your peanut butter mixture. And just a little hint that coconut cream is excellent with some berries.
Oh yeah.
So, it's hard to keep. If you have coconut cream for a recipe, I always have to put a little note on it, hands off, because otherwise the kids
dip in strawberries.
Again, scrape down those sides to make sure that you get all of the cream and everything in here. Next, after this is finished, then we are going to pour it into our crust. So next we're going to take the filling and we're going to put it inside. Looks so pretty. Our crust. So awesome. Resist the urge to eat it now. So you're going to take that, and what I always do is I put it in the freezer for about an hour to really set. It takes a few hours for the whole thing to get hard enough, but if you freeze it initially, and this is what's so great about this. This is a dessert, and you can make ahead. You can freeze it like a few days in advance like this. Don't put the cream on the top quite yet. So do this and pull it out at least 4 hours before you're gonna have company over. It'll thaw, put it in the fridge, don't leave it out. Put it in the fridge, let it just thaw. Then you can put a fresh batch of whipped coconut cream on the top, which is the next step. We'll be right back.
Here we have our clinics that are all over the place. And you see, you go to the clinic at the top right, push find a clinic, and you'll be able to scroll to all them that are there and everything. But also remember this, we do have our newsletter. Actually, when they were talking, I popped on, I'm like, oh my goodness, I didn't look at the newsletter yet. So you can see from here, the video, just scroll all the way to the bottom, and guess what happens? You can put your email address in, and you get the email, and you also get a recap of the show each time on Tuesday.
Okay, so we're almost done with peanut butter pie. The peanut butter pie chilling for at least 4 hours or overnight, and pull it out. And next you're gonna put the coconut cream, because you made 2 batches. So the first batch goes inside, second batch goes on top.
Look how fluffy it is. Beautiful.
It's beautiful. Like I said, not all coconut cream is the same.
I would say out of this whole recipe, the coconut cream is probably the touchiest part. Again, just depending on what kind of coconut you choose. So that's a really crucial that you get the right brand.
Absolutely.
Cute. You do that way more elegantly than I do.
Okay, so remember that chocolate? You have residual chocolate, and again, I'm one of those chocolate peanut butter lovers, so we're going to drizzle some chocolate on the top. Cute. Isn't it amazing?
It looks amazing.
So good.
Beautiful.
All right, okay. And voila, the peanut butter pie is finished. So you can set this in the fridge to cool until you are ready to eat it. We'll be right back, and we'll bring Jess on up to try all the recipes. Jessica, welcome back. Are you excited to try all this amazing food?
I am. Thank you guys so much.
Absolutely. So this menu that we created for Jessica is completely gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free, and egg-free. So we've got the Poppy Paloma that features the California poppy herb, and we've got a quick and easy turkey egg roll in a bowl.
And don't forget the guilt-free peanut butter pie, which is no bake, so you don't need to worry about that. I know you don't like baking.
Awesome. I'm so excited to try this, you guys. I'm going to go for the Paloma first. I finally get a mom cocktail. Oh my gosh, it's so good.
Calm your nervous system after a hard day of work.
So good, and really sweet and salty.
Yeah.
And I love that. And the egg roll. So I really miss being able to, my best friend's mom makes these incredible egg rolls homemade, and I can't have them anymore. So like, I'm really excited.
Well, there you go. Now you
This
got
is
an
a perfect
option.
alternative for you.
Right. So good. Messy, delicious. It's the best.
Chopsticks are optional.
good.
Feel free to use a fork.
And my kids will love this.
They do,
And
yes.
it's not hard to make.
Nope. And
Like,
again,
you
if
do it
your
ahead of
kiddos
time.
don't like heat, you can always decrease that heat. So
Oh, it's I love it. It's
Yep.
fantastic. The heat is phenomenal. Okay, my favorite dessert. Here we go. Who doesn't love peanut butter and chocolate?
I'm glad you like the chocolate.
Oh my goodness.
melts in your mouth.
Okay, so thank you. Thank you guys. It's so good. I really love it. I appreciate this so much.
Absolutely.
And I don't have to bake this.
You don't have to
And
bake
it covers all of my allergies.
Yep,
No
yep.
sugar.
No sugar.
Totally gluten free.
No alcohol.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Yes.
You're
Appreciate it.
welcome.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. We'll be right back with some closing thoughts. As I mentioned earlier on the show, we all have a story, and we're all walking on our own health journey. And we're so grateful to be able to walk your health journey with you.
In a world where chronic illness, cancers, and autoimmune disorders are on the rise, the food that you choose can create hope and healing. Thanks for watching Cooking from Scratch.
You could purchase one of our cookbooks at www.thewellnessway.com/cookbook. We'll see you again real soon.